Join us, Alix and Colleen, self-proclaimed fake it till you make it experts, as we navigate the highs and lows of being a woman and how the pressure and overwhelm of trying to do it all often leads to feeling like an imposter in our own lives. Joining us this week is Stephanie Graham, who chats with us about her pandemic-induced career change, parenting, relationships, and being kind, especially when it comes to ourselves.
We're back. I want to just mention briefly this Women Empowering Women sweatshirt that I'm wearing. You ordered one, did you not?
I have not ordered it yet, but it's on my list.
So it's from, it was a collaboration with Alicia Sims from Alicia Tattoo and My Home Mercantile. They're very into women supporting women, women empowering women, as are we. Yes. And it just...
I was supposed to order mine so that we could wear them together, but of course I did not listen to direction, which is not like me at all.
I'm just saying.
If you're just listening and not watching, it's a really cute red sweatshirt, and it's got some pink script on it, and it's just really nice quality. So
there. So we'll put in our notes, in our show notes, a link where you can order one, because...
And if you want to see it, you'll see it in black and white. And you are just listening, we also post this on YouTube. So that's why we're talking about it visually.
We do it all. Speaking of do it all, tonight's guest is another friend of mine, Stephanie Graham. Hi, Stephanie. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So when we start each session, each episode, we kind of give a little rundown of what we see in the person that we're interviewing. And then we ask you what you see, what you think of, how do we word that?
How would you describe yourself?
How would you describe
How do you describe yourself to yourself?
Yes. So I'm going to describe you first, because Stephanie and I, it's a very interesting relationship.
So messed up.
So Stephanie and I met sometime. Where we met,
don't know.
Have no sweet clue. We have racked our brain to figure out where and when we met, and we've come up blank.
Zero. So if anyone out there knows when we met or how, please tell us.
Please tell us.
We have no idea.
No sweet clue.
I feel like you should just make something up.
Well, we've thought of that. But the funny thing is, though, when I think about it, I think it's because I feel like you've just always been there.
Same.
And one of the things about Stephanie that I find so wonderful is, and which I wore this sweatshirt on purpose with you here tonight, because you know how to empower women.
Oh,
you
thanks.
Are supportive, you are kind, you're always there with an encouraging word. If I'm having a bad day, you're knocking on my door and showing up with
God knows what.
Whatever,
Yeah.
right? And
cheesecake during COVID.
Cheesecake during COVID.
Yeah.
You've shown up with,
right?
Turkey dinner.
Cocktail came with that too.
Cocktail came with that. Like you've shown up at my house at my birthday and just had like balloons and sang songs. You just have a way of knowing when to be there. And I think that's why I just don't remember, because you've just always been that person for me. You're there.
I got you on that one.
Well, what do you see? Like, that's how I see you. I see you as this kind, encouraging, just motivating woman. What do you think of yourself? How do you present yourself, or how do you want people to see you?
I think I want people to see the real me. I think authenticity is super important, and I'll talk about that till the cows come home. But I think being yourself and being comfortable with yourself when you're alone, and being the same person when you're alone as you are with other people, is so very important. There was a long time where I didn't actually like being alone or sitting with myself, or even being alone with myself in the car. I'd have to have music on, or a podcast, or a audiobook, or a something. And I think coming to terms with that myself helped me see how it just kind of bolsters you to allow that to come through to other people.
I like that. And I mean, authenticity is so important. Authenticity is really, to me, it's essential for everybody, mainly because you can't keep up with your lives. If
No,
you start
yeah.
faking too much, if you start telling
Yeah.
lies, if you start telling yourself stories and others people's stories, you can't keep up with that fake person, that
Or
fake
even
persona.
just not knowing what you like or who you are. And we have this fridge magnet that like goes around my family. I think my mom has it right now, but it might be at my sister's. And it says, I used to be indecisive, but I'm not so sure. And it was like, if you don't know what scents you like or what fabrics you like or what you want to eat at a restaurant, or like so much of us actually, I think when we're young women and girls, get caught up in the like, well, what should I order? Who freaking cares? Order what tastes good to you today, or what, if you want macaroni and cheese on a date, do it. Like, what do you want? And I think we don't answer that question early enough in our lives. What do you want? Not what should you do? Who should you be? What should you say? It's what do you want?
Where do you think that indecisiveness comes from?
Oh, I know for me, like, and sorry, mom and dad, it came from my upbringing. Like I've been through enough therapy that I can kind of identify where it came from, and really sat with that about, being the perfect daughter, being the perfect girlfriend, or all of that stuff, or wanting other people to see you as put together, that you kind of do what you should do instead of what you want to do. That was a long time. I don't think I settled into that until my early 30s.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty common, actually. I think a lot of people grow up in that people pleasing mode.
Yeah.
Because of that validation or what we're taught to expect or want.
Yeah.
But I think it's true too, and it comes back to that authenticity is how we make meaningful relationships with other people too.
Yep.
And I think when you're trying to be something you're not, you're connecting with people that are the right people for you. So I think that part of it is really important too.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, I agree. And it's tough. It's tough at all ages, at all times of our lives. To sometimes you have to step back and go, who am I? What do I want? And then re-clarify it with yourself, and then move forward again.
And giving yourself freedom to re-clarify or re-justify, or I was at a course one time and we had to like pick an animal we identified with, and I picked chameleon because I want to be myself in all my situations. And I might be super creative one time, or I might be super analytical another time. And I might be a little wild. I've had every hair color under the sun, and I'm like, just do what makes you happy. Right? Like, so if you want to move in and out of things or change or reinvent yourself, do it. You don't have to wait. You don't have to have permission.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Take up the space.
Take up the space.
Are you looking to up your social media game? Social media can be intimidating and overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. At Every Day I'm Branding, we truly believe that every day is an opportunity to showcase your brand through authentic and aligned social media strategy and content. Whether you're looking for done-for-you social management or monthly strategy sessions, the team at Every Day I'm Branding can help you reach your ideal audience in a way that feels aligned and drives conversion. If you'd like to have the Imposter Sisters come into your business and help you and your team get comfortable creating social media content, ask us about our new Keen to Screen program, a value-packed social media training for anyone that is looking to up their social media presence, either as a solopreneur or to empower their team to be impactful brand ambassadors.
Stephanie, you've had a very interesting career and life and journey to get from there to here, where you are right now. Tell us a little bit about your journey. What you want to tell us.
You want to know the work stuff, or you want to know?
You decide, and you can tell us what you want to tell us.
I think the work stuff is top of mind right now because I've had such a change in the last couple of years. And I think kind of it was an easier transition than I thought it would be, which was funny. So I owned my own business for 8 years and loved it and hated it. Loved the people that I got to spend time with, hated being in one place all the time. I like change. So that kind of was hard for me for 8 years to do the one thing, and to be in a physical location for that time was really hard. And then COVID happened. And it was make some decisions, decide. I didn't know if my store would reopen, if I would be able to continue. So I was at home and two of the adult children had moved back in and they were driving me insane. And my husband worked from home that whole time. He didn't stop. So I decided to get a job, and a corporate one, again, which was super funny, because I thought I was ruined for the corporate world, to show up on a certain time and to be in a certain place. But I really took what I wanted and was honest about that and said, I need flexibility to be creative, to kind of set my own hours, to get my work done, and found a place that allowed me to do that, and allowed me to grow and develop. And then I was there for about a year. And then a friend came up with another opportunity for me. We were sitting back to back in a booth in a restaurant. And when I was done with my meeting, she's like, you need to come work for me. Leaned over the booth. And so I did. And it really, that kind of second transition went into the automotive industry, which I had never worked in before. And it really kind of gave me the confidence to say, well, if I can do that here with no experience and be very successful, why can't I go and do that somewhere else? So it was a really good opportunity to kind of get your toes wet in something, kind of go, okay, because you're entrepreneur for a long time and you wonder, like, can I do that? Or can I,
Where does imposter syndrome play into that? How did that all play out?
I think it was a little easier than normal because I knew what I was good at. So I knew I was good at leading and developing people. So I said, if I can spend time using my top 5 strengths every single day, I'll be happy. So, and for me, happiness is kind of equates to successfulness as well, right? So I knew that if I had a team that I was helping them grow and develop, I would be okay. Now, doing fund transfers, being involved with stock market transactions, I kind of like laugh all the time and be like, well, I actually do know what I'm doing because they trained me. But that kind of thing, like there was some times where we're sitting in a meeting and you're kind of giggling and like, how'd I get into this room? That's funny. You just kind of hide behind your cup and like, okie dokie. So I think there's that and that, but again, I think it's knowing what I'm good at, understanding, and I struggled with imposter syndrome a lot when I was younger. But there was a key person when I was working in the healthcare industry years ago. We were working on a research project and he was a neurologist. And again, I was sitting in the room kind of thinking, who let me in this room? There was several very well tenured doctors, social workers, nurses, and I'm sitting there kind of doing the whole like hide behind my cup again, but kind of giggling and like, but at that time I was really struggling with like, should I be in this room? And he leaned over and he said, hey, you have more lived experience than we have combined medical. So we need you here. We need your perspective. And it's so important. So when I always kind of come back to that when I do have that imposter kind of creep up on me or something and think I'm here for a reason. I might not know what it is right now, but it's for something.
I think so often we compare ourselves to the people that are in the room.
Yeah.
Rather than sit back and say, wow, I have a unique voice.
Yeah.
And my voice can add something completely different that they didn't think of.
Yeah.
And that's just as important as you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I think sometimes we forget that.
And I've had so many people come up, like in the amount of time that I owned my store, I was very open about my marriage failing, the abusive relationship that I went through, my very different parenting style. I think I really allowed my children to be who they were, sometimes at the detriment of providing structure, which we are all in therapy for now.
I can relate.
I want to be the fun mom, but maybe I should have been the more structured one, but that's okay. We're all talking about it and we're honest about our feelings. So I think when you have people come up to you and say, hey, I heard somebody told me about your story and they told me to come and talk to you. And I shared something maybe in a networking event or a coffee shop or something in passing. And then I have someone come to me and say, I need to do this. And I heard you made it through to the other side and I want the life you have right now. And I don't know how to get there. And I am by no means a medical professional. I am by no means a social worker or anything else. And what I can say is, this is what I did. And the first step is saying you want something different. Second step is trying to figure out what you want. And then the third is getting help. So whether it's for, mental health issues, which I've been very vocal about, or, leaving a domestic abuse situation, which I've been very vocal about, I think it's one of the things that you have to kind of say, okay, like I told that story for a reason, somebody heard it for a reason. And if it can help one other person choose something different for themselves, choose to be happier, choose to, live a more fulfilling life, choose to get away from something that's hurting them, then I did my job. I was there for that reason.
I love that.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, we don't even know what that reason is.
And I think that's so important too, because we can talk ourselves out of rooms or situations or belonging so quickly. And think about the input that we could have had and
Yeah.
didn't.
Right. Like there's that you've got knowledge, you've got experience, and you could be helping someone just by opening up your,
Just by being honest about
just
it
by being
too,
honest.
right?
Yeah.
Like nothing's been, pretty or easy or, there's been no laid out path. And I don't think there is for a lot of people. But I think choosing happiness, choosing kindness, choosing vulnerability, will always get you in the right room, in the right place,
With the right people.
with the right people. Yeah.
Those are such important lessons for people. It's like for people to learn young,
Yeah.
and I think it's really difficult in this day and age for young people to be authentic sometimes
Mhm.
because they feel very judged,
Or to
Yeah.
understand what it means to be authentic
Mm.
in the age of social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see so many people struggling to, taking breaks from social media because it's just pressuring them to buy things they don't want or need, or, be impulsive in a moment or struggle with wanting to look a certain way. I've looked every single way from a size 6 to a size 16 in the last 10 years. And I just want to tell people, yes, there's things I want to do right now to be healthier, but if I'm not okay with where I am right now and loving myself right now, kind of what's the point,
Yeah.
right? I know what I need to do to get on a journey to health or to moving more or to be stronger, but I can't focus on, the things that social media tells us we need to look like or be like or think like.
Yeah.
It's not a way to live.
No, it isn't a way to live.
Yeah.
You have taken a massive stride.
Yes.
Just recently, you joined
Team Miles.
Team Miles.
Oh, for Blue Nose?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Running.
Yes. A 10K.
Like, there's like, how did was there imposter syndrome there, or did you just go, I'm doing it?
No, so it was complete, like, I know I'm going to fail at this and I really suck at this right now. So in the middle of COVID, we were doing these at-home workouts and I rolled my ankle doing a side shuffle and a squat. I still can't say that. And I'm like, shouldn't do them if you can't say them because you hurt yourself. So anyway, tore my Achilles, called, the non-emergency number and like, can you walk? And I'm like, yes. They're like, okay. So had it been not COVID, I would have gone to the hospital, would have got my scans, would have had surgery. We didn't have that. So I healed at home and I still have pain and we are running through pain, but I love Team Miles because it's sponsored by a physio group. So I've been through physio for my ankle, but now it's physio running, right? So it's understanding what I want to do, how I want my body to move. And they're so supportive. I am the slowest person out there. I am the last person to finish every run. When everyone's doing, 2-minute run, 1-minute walk, I'm still doing 30 and 30. But that's okay. And it's I am where I'm at. One of the slogans we have is that your pace, your race. And like mine's super slow, but it's supportive. It's a community. And I used to really enjoy running. Now I cry when I run. And everybody just hands me a tissue when they're walking and running by. So it's okay. They're like, here you go. And it's kind of a little joke with our team. And, you know, I said, I'm going to cry. And they're like, okay, cool. Okay, cool. So it was kind of, I knew I would fail going into it, but I'm okay with that.
But we've talked about this, that if you don't push yourself, you don't grow.
That's like
Yeah.
failing forward, I think,
Failing
Yeah.
forward.
you know?
And I think even the word fail, like my body, when I say it, my body and my brain don't like it.
Yeah.
It's a bad word in a way, but it's like, it's okay to, and I think the failing part is it's like, it's not pain-free and it's not easy right now, but that's okay.
Serving up hot brews, refreshing cold drinks, lots of fresh baked goodies, and delicious lunch options. Visit the Mellow Mug in the heart of Larry Utech for dine-in, takeout, or drive-through service. Their spacious cafe offers a casual and inviting vibe that's perfect for everything from enjoying a good book, hanging with friends, or meeting a colleague. The Mellow Mug is your neighborhood spot for great coffee and delicious eats and sweets. So you're very interesting because you've had imposter syndrome,
For
and
sure.
you would have very much identified as the superhuman.
Oh yeah.
So the
100%.
superhuman,
Yeah.
I agree with you. So the superhuman measures competence based on how many roles they can both juggle and excel in, falling short in any role as a manager, team member, parent, partner, friend, volunteer, all evoke shame because they feel they should be able to handle it all perfectly and easily. That was you.
I stayed married for 15 years longer than I should have because of that.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. And one of the things that I don't talk about, which I'm willing to talk about now, is I wasn't the one who left. I would have stayed doing that. I would have stayed just so I wouldn't fail.
Yes. The fear of failure is huge.
Yeah.
Huge for a lot of women.
Yeah.
This to me was you before.
Yeah.
You seeing this, the Steph that I know now seems very confident, very assured of, very self-assured.
Yeah.
Very,
98% of the time.
so what
Yep.
are your, what did you do? How did you push through some of that imposter syndrome? What's some advice?
So I think surrounding yourself with people who have been through it, who've come out on the other side, who can really, I think most of my friends are at least 10 years older than me, if not more. And I remember being like in my 20s, being like really mad. I took my kids to this church near our house and they had a Bible study group. So it was free babysitting because I had kids that were 17 months apart. So I was like, woohoo, we'll go to that.
Is that moms?
No, I ended up volunteering for that later because I had to prove I could do it. Yeah, I know. But there was that one. Everybody there was 50 or older. And I was so mad. But these group of 50-year-old women became my best friends for like a year and a half. And I remember them saying, even though we were in a church basement at the time, the more you get over 50, the less F's you give. And I was like, that's hilarious. I give all the F's and I don't think that I couldn't even wrap my head around it. But walking, beside them through life and just doing stuff and watching them. And then when I moved here, so I moved here from Vancouver in 2009, some of the first people I met were 10, 15 years older than me. And I was like, oh my gosh, seriously, again. But they were all these women who had this massive amount of confidence. And I saw them doing their thing. But then I also had really intimate moments where they spilled their guts about how they didn't feel like they belonged in the room, how they were scared shitless before they went on a stage, how they were terrified to do whatever, but did it anyway. And I was like, nobody knew. And as soon as I saw, it was one of those things that it was like, oh my God, if I didn't know and nobody else knew, then nobody knows when I do it too.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like And so I don't like the fake it till you make it kind of thing in a way, but I do believe learn what you need to learn, surround yourself with people who can teach you, and then do what you can, right? Do what you can. So for me, it was kind of watch and learn. And then having people give you feedback is so key. I applied for this job that I was not qualified for, but I had read somewhere that you should, that women don't. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. And they're like, okay, you need an MBA or a CPA. And I was like, whatevs. And a little naive about it. But during that interview process, and I knew that this happened because I needed to go through that process. They asked for you to do this questionnaire and give it to 3 other people who know you well. And I remember giving it to my mom, and my mom, one of the questions was one word that describes you. And my mom said kind. And I would not have chosen that word for myself. And I was like, okay. So I remember we were driving out to Peggy's Cove or something one day, and I asked her, and she was telling me stories about all the times where she's seen me just be intrinsically kind. And she goes, and you're so kind to yourself, and you never used to be. And I was like, oh, and she goes, and that's the biggest one. She goes, I want to be like that when I grow and develop more. I want to be like you when I grow up and be kind. And I was like, oh man, okay. So getting that kind of feedback from people, stepping into it and kind of owning it was really nice.
That is nice.
It is nice. And then to have friends.
And
So
you are kind.
I am kind.
You're really
I
kind.
know. I try and do kind.
One of the ways to combat imposter syndrome is to actually listen to how awesome the people in your life think you are. If you're looking for the perfect gift for a loved one, where you can tell them all of the things that make them special, visit my Drawbridge Creative Etsy shop and purchase a Things We Love About You custom poster. With several styles to choose from, it's a fabulous gift for any milestone birthday, anniversary, retirement, or just because. Imposter syndrome has to keep rearing its ugly head from time to time, or it doesn't.
Oh no, remember, I think I told you like this morning about after we have a time
yes.
where we meet, like you were like, what? We were chatting about it this morning. And so we meet with a group of women. Yeah, we're in a business group together. And I was super pissed off at the women in this group after our last meeting. Like swear words mad. Like at one of the sweetest, quietest, loveliest ones, super mad because she's like, I think you're depressed right now. And I was like, fuck you, I am not. I'm assuming it's okay to swear here.
Yes.
So, because I know you, and I assume you're the same way. So, but I literally I was smiling at her. I was like, thank you for the feedback. Because that's what we do in our group. We say, thank you for the feedback. And we sit with it. And I sat with it going, fuck you all day long. And I was like, I don't want to be fucking depressed right now. And I've been depressed for long enough. And I feel like I'm in remission for fuck's sakes, but I'm not. I wasn't okay. And I was super vulnerable and honest with my group about what I was struggling with. And she's like, I think you need to take a break. And I was like, I'm not taking a break. Who can take a break? And I was like, but actually where I work, I can take a break. With who I work with and how I work and with my family, I am privileged enough to be able to take a break.
And with that, it's time for us to take a break. We love chatting with Steph so much that we decided to make this a 2-part. Tune in next week as we continue our conversation with the inspiring Stephanie Graham.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Imposter Sisters. Please remember, we're not doctors or mental health experts. If you're looking for mental health guidance, please see our show notes for local resources. We'd like to thank our location sponsor, the Mellow Mug, located at 64 Delridge Lane, for donating this amazing space for us to have these important chats and for supplying us with drinks and goodies. Please give them a follow and make sure to stop in to see this beautiful spot for yourself. Until next time, keep your head high and we will see you next Tuesday.